Gail Godbey's knack for being in the right place at the right time started at the age of 14 at Cherry Hills Country Club. It was only 2 weeks after he started his first caddy job. It was a rainy afternoon, and he had been sent to roll up windows in the parking lot.
So I went out, rolled up the windows, got on my bike, and was just riding out of the caddy yard, and Buster was the caddy master here, and he came out in a total panic. He said, "I need 3 guys," and there were 3 guys there. So we used to get a little slip of paper that had the player name on it, and Haggerty. So I got Haggerty. It didn't mean anything to me. The kid next to me got his piece of paper, couldn't read the name, and I looked at it, and it was Eisenhower.
With legendary pro Rip Arnold and Governor Dan Thornton completing the foursome, Gail set out on his loop of a lifetime.
So I'm walking along, and I'm the last one off the green, and Ike turns to me as we walk off, and he says, "Son, what would you hit here?" Well, I'd been caddying like 2 weeks. I just knew the lower the number, the farther the ball went. So I said, well, hit 4. And he and Thornton were making $20 bets on the holes. Now that's 1952, so I mean, we're talking a lot of money today. And I don't know where they were on the bet, and I don't even know if he parred the hole, but he won the money on that hole. So he congratulated me as we walked off the green. So that was a highlight of my career. And Haggerty, who was the guy I had, was Ike's press secretary. He went on to become head of ABC News, ABC Television, and he gave me a $5 tip. And so consequently, that's how it all got started. So.
The shirt Gail wore that day has survived all these years, as has the passion for the game that was born that day, and his ability to be in the right place at the right time. After graduating from CU, Gail eventually landed at Frontier Airlines in sales and marketing. And in 1975, Bill Johnson, who headed up both Highwan and Arizona Biltmore, approached Frontier about starting a golf tournament. What ensued was the Frontier Invitational Pro-Am, but Bill needed help.
And so for 2 years, Bill just about had a stroke because nobody at Frontier played golf that he had assigned to him. And so he was doing all the work. So I got drafted. And so I ended up doing that tournament for 7 years.
Well, running the Frontier put Gail at Highwan, which turned out to be the right place again. Highwan also hosted the Colorado Open, which Gail also got involved in, and it's where he met Don January.
And somebody introduced me to Don, and he'd heard about the Frontier, and he said, well, we're trying to put together this senior tour. And he said, Dean Beeman's given us a lot of pushback, and he said, so we still want to get out on our own and do something. And so I said, well, we'd love to have you guys join us. So the first year they were with us was down at the Arizona Biltmore. And you know, I had guys like Billy Casper and Gene Littler and Al Geiberger. And so those guys came in and played, and they finished 3 years with us.
The final event was at the Broadmoor in 1983.
And Dale Douglas won that one, as a matter of fact. So it was kind of a stepping stone to the senior tour. And then after that, I think the PGA Tour started paying attention to these guys, and the rest is history.
Right after Frontier, Gail landed at the Denver Post, where history would repeat itself.
I ran marketing and public relations for the Post, and I'd been there. I knew that the Post had this Denver Post Champions of Golf, which was a senior event, and so I went to work there, and I'd been there like 3 weeks, and Dick Schlossberg, who was a publisher, called me over, and he said, you know, we've got this Champions of Golf tournament, and he said, it's doing okay, but it's not doing well, and I need somebody to come in and take over this tournament. And I said, well, you know, I have a little knowledge there. I'd be happy to help out. That was 85 that I took it over. And so that tournament continued on until 87. And then the Denver Post was sold. They didn't want any part of the tournament, so that went away. And I went away.
Gail then spent 3 years at the International at Castle Pines before moving on to the CU Foundation. And that turned out to be right place, right time again in 1991.
A fellow from the Craig Hospital Board, I think he was the chairman of their board, as a matter of fact, sought me out because he knew I was working with CU and the CU Foundation, and he asked me, he said, would you guys be interested in taking over the Colorado Open?
So Gail took it over, and his first order of business was to secure a venue. When Highwan doubled its price, Inverness stepped up and offered the venue for free.
And the folks at Inverness offered us no cost, so double fee or no cost. So we took the Inverness offer and moved forward.
For 7 years, the Colorado Open flourished under Gail's direction. He secured First Data as a title sponsor. Inverness produced champions such as Brant Jobe and Jonathan Kay, and the tournament netted an average of $90,000 a year. And in those 7 years, Gail also created the Colorado Women's Open.
And I think we had 12 women that year, and the next year I had 35. And the following year, I can't remember the number, but it was getting big. And so that's when I sat down with the CGA and the PGA section and said, I think it's time for a Colorado Women's Open.
And before Gail left, he developed the Colorado Senior Open and put the sponsors in place. In 2001, Gail founded the Fitz Frolic for Research at Fitzsimmons Golf Course. And in 2004, when Pat Hamill resurrected the Colorado Open, Gail was one of the first people he asked to get involved.
So I volunteered for the board and helped out that first couple of years, and then we were struggling to find a charity, and so we looked at a bunch in town, Boys and Girls Club, and decided that the First Tee was a new program, and that's something that we could get behind. And so I was instrumental in helping that chapter get up and running, and it was just a lot of fun.
Gail has also served as a CGA governor and director of junior development for nearly a decade for the Colorado Golf Association. And tonight it's our turn to be in the right place and the right time to honor Gail Godbey with a Lifetime Achievement Award.